What's up, guys? It's your girl Kizzy, aka Enlightened Intuitive, also known as God's favorite lesbian fairy. Let's go ahead and get into our deep breath, our Book of Light excerpt, and then we'll get into the topic for today. Take a deep breath in with me. Deep breath out. And just recognize how you feel after you take deep breaths. After you take deep breaths, you should definitely feel a somewhat refresher, a somewhat recentering, a somewhat realignment of where you currently are in the present moment. So our excerpt for today from the Book of Light is Spiritual Dimension. Everyone has a secret side, a hidden side, a part of him that lies latent. A place buried deep within where only those who believe in their cosmic existence may enter, where only those who are attentive, fragile, and defenseless may enter. Entry is permitted only to those who wish to get in touch with their feelings, regardless of the inherent risks involved. To those who are willing to accept the unknown, to those who accept pain in all its magnitude, just as they accept light as it transcends. To those who accept absolute duality, and only to those who accept that good and evil are part of the same sphere, and do not yearn for days of happiness when faced with pain. These days will arrive once you have gone through the pain. Every person has a spiritual dimension. In order to access this, you have to cleanse your thoughts, put on some music, and be. Simply be. Just remain there, listening to music and letting it vibrate through the foundations of life. That is to say, do yourself, without thinking, without feeling, only being. And a magnetic gateway will open up a whole new world of awareness. Remain in this world. Stay there and build, gather, and strengthen that vibration. And as each day passes, you will find it easier to access, to remove all thoughts from your head and to simply vibrate. Just be. This is only the beginning. Okay, Bird. As you can see in today's topic, which that was perfect for, God just always knows. But today's topic is going to be based on intuition and spiritual gifts. And so I want to talk about first how to recognize your intuition. So you recognize your intuition by it's basically like a knowing that you have, a clear gut feeling, or just a something that resonates with you on a deep level, right? So if you're connecting with somebody, you just have a feeling like this person's not for me. I shouldn't go there. I don't trust that, right? This is your gut. If you have a certain inkling about something or someone, or even about yourself, right? Trust that. That is something that is guiding you. And, it's not always easy to trust intuition. I know that for me, I've had to personally learn how to trust my intuition, right? And so I feel like we all have intuition, but it's a matter of heightening that intuition, listening to that intuition, but also recognizing when it is alerting you. Through me not listening to my intuition, right? Through me getting intuitive nudges, but ignoring them and then seeing it as right, that has taught me what my intuition is and has been, right? I'm like, oh, okay, so I know that when I just intuitively felt, right? Because it is an intuitive feeling, because you just know it, you just feel it, you just automatically get that energy. I've realized that when I go through these situations, and they end up how I already intuitively knew, I go back and I'm like, okay, so there I had an intuitive nudge, but a lot of times we don't listen to our intuition, which our intuition is very much a gift, right? We don't listen to it because we think we know best, right? Our ego's like, well, let me just try, well, let me just see, well, let me just and then a lot of times what ends up happening is exactly what we already felt would happen, right? And so that's why it's important to get in tune with your intuition and recognize what it is when your intuition is speaking to you for you, right? Is it something you feel in your gut? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it in your heart? Where do you feel it? Maybe you feel it in multiple places, right? What is it for you, right? So establish what you're into, get to know your intuition basically, and you get to know that through experience, but also by tuning in and listening to it, right? Believing that you have an intuition, because believe it or not, right? We all do have intuition. It's just about tuning into it and giving it the space to exist. If you don't give your intuition the space to exist, to be, well, then it's not going to be, because you're automatically shutting it out. You're automatically putting it away, right? And it may come up, but again, if it's coming up and you're refusing to see it, well, you're not going to acknowledge it as such, as I have in the past. And even sometimes when I get intuitive nudges now, I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what happens, right? Let me let it play out. Like, let's say I get an energy of someone, right? I may not automatically cut the person off because my intuition said XYZ. I may let it play out, right? I may see what happens. But as I continuously go and see what happens, I come to find out my intuition was right, right? And so I was already knowing, but I wanted to see what would happen. And then it happened, it was confirmed. And then sometimes I end up disappointed, but sometimes I also end up like, okay, true. Maybe even both. Like I already knew that, but I didn't really want to know that. But now I actually know that because you've confirmed it for me outside of my intuition, right? So now it's like, okay, well, you can't really deny the truth, the facts of the matter. And that's really what your intuition does. Gives you information pertaining to the facts of the matter. Your intuition is a helper, and that's why it's so important to listen to it, to let it guide you, to get in tune with it, to research about it, to figure out what it is for you, how you sense it for yourself. And to get more in tune with it, I feel like I would say to meditate, right? Whether that's, spending some time listening to music, drawing, whether that's going on a walk outside, whether that's meditating in stillness and in silence, whether that's feeling your emotions, whether that's journaling. I feel like to get in touch with your intuition, you have to somewhat tap in, right? To be able to trust it and understand it and to know it, you got to be able to tap in, but also through experience, right? Like I said, through experiencing not listening to your intuition, that's where you learn to listen to your intuition. Really clearing out your energy will help you get in tune with your intuition, right? And by clearing it out is like those examples that I just mentioned: journaling, going outside, meditating, feeling your emotions, right? Because our intuition is attached to a higher source, which in order to connect to the higher source, we have to be in a mental space to connect to the higher source. You know what I mean? So sometimes we can block our intuition because we're letting our emotions or overthinking, our thinking mind get too uh, crowded on it, too stifling of it. So we really have to let our intuition breathe. And it's in those spaces where you're letting yourself breathe, right? Your energy breathe through journaling, through going outside, whatever it is for you, is where you're able to get in touch with what that is for you. I hope I didn't just ramble. I feel like I might have just kind of rambled, but it's okay. If you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. If you try to know, well, then you'll try to know. You know what I mean? So let's talk about spiritual gifts. I feel like last year was when I really realized that I'm spiritually gifted. Like I have literal gifts that like have names and like have actual meanings and have actual like definitions. But I feel like I've been gifted probably for a few years, honestly, I want to say. But last year, I feel like is when I really was like, okay, what are the names, right? Like, let me remember the names. Let me get in tune with what they mean. Like, let me understand what gifts I really have. Like, let me get in touch with that spiritual aspect, that spiritual side of myself, which we all have a spiritual side. And it's another conversation, but a lot of things happen in the spiritual before they happen in in reality, in the 3D. So the spiritual dimension, like the thing from the book today, yeah, is the fifth dimension, which is up there, right? It's upstairs. It's spiritual, right? It's what's felt but not seen. The 3D is what is seen in real time, in real reality. So like I'm living in the 3D. Humans live in the 3D, but our spirits, right, our souls, that sort of source energy lives in the 5D, which is not down here, it's up there. So, okay. Wow, I'm feeling a little bit energized. I kind of love that for me. Because I feel like I just love talking, but like, I don't know, I've never really talked about my gifts before and like really like opened up to the fact that like, yeah, I do have gifts. Yeah, I'm not gonna hide it anymore. Yeah, I don't care if you think it's weird. Yeah, I don't care if you don't believe in it. So I'm gonna talk about 4 spiritual gifts that I have. Now, I'm sure I have others, and there may be other names for different, you know what I mean? It can, I'm sure the list can go on, it can get more descriptive and more detailed, or more uh, different levels to it. But these are the four that I know and have recognized that I have. So, one is clear cognizance, which is basically a clear knowing, right? I'm able to just get information uh, to myself that just presents as a clear knowing, right? So let's say that I meet up with somebody, right? I don't ask God, hey, tell me information about this person. Hey, what is, like, I don't analyze somebody when I meet them. Like, I'm not trying to perceive them in any way, right? But when I meet them, automatically I get information, right? I just know things. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're being genuine, or you're not being genuine, or you're feeling this energy, or you're sad, or, like, I just have a clear knowing. I have a clear knowing when it comes to what things are going to happen. For example, when I used to work at a call center, there's this energy that I get when I interact with people that something's supposed to happen with. Like, it's like I've seen two coworkers and I've interacted with them. I've seen them and I'm like, something's going to happen with them. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like I know it. I just know it. I just feel it, right? It's a feeling. It's a knowing, right? Clear cognizance is a knowing, clear knowing. And then something ended up happening with both of those people. And so it's like, it's just basically a clear knowing. I just know things. I don't exactly know how I know, but I just know. And it's information about all types of things. It doesn't necessarily pertain to one singular thing. It could just be anything in life. Like, sometimes I say words and I'm like, how did I even know that word? I don't know. I just know. How did I even know that that person was gonna? I don't know. I just know. Right? That is clear cognizance. Another spiritual gift is clairaudience, which is clear hearing. So I get messages audibly, right, via music, right, via lyrics, right. That's why I really connect to music, because I get like a deeper message from it. Um, and then I also get like messages from spirit audibly. So, like, I'll hear spirit say, oh no, that's not right, or oh yes, that's right, or if you just did this, or you, like, spirit will just talk to me. It's like a little whisper, but like not a whisper, but like a whisper. And you just sort of hear a voice in your head talking to you, giving you information, telling you something, which will really be very calm and very real, sometimes subtle, but also sometimes distinct. It's not going to be like anxiety, right? It's not going to be like, ah, da 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 da, da 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 da. No, it's going to be very much like, oh, so just do this, or oh, just let me, like, it's going to be very soft, it's going to be very kind, but it will also be very assertive, it'll be very real, and you will know the difference. Their sentience is clear sensing. So I'm able to just sense things. Like, I just can sense how people feel, I can sense what energy people are in, I can sense how people are vibrating, right? I can sense when things are going to happen, I can sense when somebody's not, like, basically reading energy. I can read energy, right? And again, it's not something where I'm like, I want to read your energy. No, I just get around people and then boom, 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 download, 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 download. So you might hear people say like, oh my God, I got a download, or people talk about downloads in the spiritual community. That is what a download is. It's basically spirit communicating information to them, and then they're speaking it out. So in my readings, I'll say, to me and through me, spirit. That's basically that. Like, spirit is speaking to me and through me. So clairsentience is basically clear sensing. Like, I can just clearly sense things, right? And clear means clear, and then the cognizance, knowing, sentience is sensing, audience is hearing, and then we have clairvoyance, which is clear visions. Sometimes I do see visions. I also have prophetic dreams. Um, and so in that, I'm able to just see a vision, right, in my mind. It's almost like that's a raven, where you see her go like, and then it like zooms in on her eyeball, and then like you see she has a vision, then she comes back to life. Except it's not that like theatrical. It really is like, oh, like I'm just sitting here, boom, had a vision. That's it. But it's not like You can kiss until I no, it's not like that at all. But it's related. It is very much real. That's a Raven is very much real, right? Like, no wonder why she didn't want to tell a lot of people, because people make fun of a lot of people for that. People call people crazy for those type of things. I get called crazy. I get gaslit. All these things, like, but it's very much real, right? There are psychics that exist. It is a real thing. Now, maybe not as theatrical, right? And like as Raven, but it does exist. No wonder why she only told a few people, right? No wonder why she kept it under wraps. No wonder why she would try to stop it from happening, but it would still happen. It's because you can't stop what's meant to happen, first of all, but also, I feel like she was meant to embrace her gifts and just take it for what it is. But anyway, was she ever able to stop it from happening? No, I think the visions always came true. That's neither here or there, nor there, but those are some of the spiritual gifts that I have. Like, you see me looking down, it's because I have a little note card here just so I can keep track of like my track. You know what I mean? But okay, so the four spiritual gifts in all were claircognizance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and clairvoyance. And now I'm going to share with you some examples of when this has been used in my life. So, claircognizance, I feel like I use these daily, but claircognizance specifically, I feel like my clear knowing comes through when I meet people or I find myself in situations where it's like, I don't know, I can't really explain it. Like, it just is. Like, it just exists on every sort of plane. So like if I meet someone, like I mentioned, like I'll just know things about them. I'll just know how they're feeling. I'll just know what's up. Like, I'll just get messages and I'll just be like, "Oh, okay." Like, I don't know how I know that, but I know, right? Even if they're not near me, like I can tell when people are thinking of me. I can tell when people are in my energy. How do I know that? I don't know. I just know. And the thing about intuition too is that it's not always logical, if at all logical. It is very spiritual based. It is very non-physical, which like 5D, right? It comes from source, which is why a lot of people don't believe in it and they don't trust in it, because you can't see it with your eye, right? A lot of it is just based on another level of uh conceptualization. And so it's like a lot of people don't believe in it because they're like, "Oh, I can't see it, so let me just test it and see," right? But the thing is about like intuition is not logical, right? So just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen, right? If you get a vibe that, hey, I shouldn't be at this place, something bad's about to go down, are you going to wait there to see if it's going to go down, or are you going to be like, "You know what, no, actually I'm going to leave," and then you leave and then boom, da 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 happening, da 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 da. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that, right? That's an example of clear knowing, clear knowing, clear cognizance. Uh, Clairsentience, again, is just related to people's feelings. I actually have, I might be all over the place, but I have, like I said, prophetic dreams. So, for example, I had a dream of me trying to use my credit card, but the credit card didn't work. It said it was locked. And then in real time, in 3D, when I tried to use the credit card, it said it was locked, right? Another example is I had a vision, like I could see that I was going to meet up with my ex to talk to her, and that she was going to like pull up and like we were going to sit in my driveway. That actually ended up happening. Like, she actually ended up meeting up with me at my place, and then the place I was staying, and then pulling up in the driveway, and we sat in the driveway. I also had a vision that somebody was going to call me, and that has yet to happen, but it's still happening. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I also have dreams of like how people feel about me. So like if somebody feels safe with me, they'll be coming in my dream wanting to be close to me or wanting to hug me. And it's like I have prophetic dreams based on like how people feel or what's going to happen. Right? I had a dream of somebody calling me. It's not a vision, but a dream. I had a dream where somebody called me from my past, and I woke up when they called me. Still hasn't happened yet, but it is in process. I had a dream of somebody in my past talking to me, right? And it It hasn't happened yet, but it's telling me how these people feel without them being in my actual reality, right? It's really cool, but it's also trippy because it's like, whoa, like I'm actually getting this information. And it's like, again, it may not look like what the physical looks like, but they're in my dreams, and it's an entirely different story. You know what I mean? And so that's a very cool thing about intuition. It's not necessarily based on this 3D. It is more spiritual. It is more mental. It is more illogical than it is logical. Oh, well, it looks like they're over there enjoying life. Yeah, but in my dreams, I'm actually seeing them cry. Yeah, but in my dreams, I'm actually seeing them, da da da. I'm actually, and so it's like, that is a pretty cool aspect of it. That's why it's very like magical and mystical, because it's like the unseen, right? Lifting the veil and being able to see past illusions that are presented in the 3D. Clairaudience. When I listen to music, I hear messages, like I said, on a deeper level. But I also just get general messages from my intuition all the time. God talking to me all the time. Like, I'll sometimes formally be like, God, I invite you formally to this conversation, and then I'll just talk to God. It's just like a voice in my head, sometimes my voice, but also not always. Sometimes just like a voice that's speaking to me. I really don't know how to explain it. It's like a whisper, but like not a whisper. It's just like something that exists. And then we have clairvoyance, which is clear visions, being able to have visions, being able to see things before they happen, right? I know that something's going to go down with this person and that person. Claircognizance, it's also, they're all kind of embedded within each other, right? Because my clear knowing can align with my clear sensing, because I'm knowing it because I'm sensing it, which I heard it, which I envisioned it. You know what I mean? So it's all sort of aligned and they all sort of work together, but at the same time, they do have different, names and definitions. But another example of a prophetic dream I've had is that I had this friend where I would. Have conversations with her multiple times. And every time I left the conversation, I kept feeling like, why do I feel like something's missing here? Like, why do I feel like I'm still not connecting with you? And then I had a dream that I walked into a place and she was like, and it gave me the energy of her betraying me. And I remember being shocked and being like, what the heck? But in the 3D, you couldn't tell that that's what was happening. But the fact that every time I left conversations or hangouts with her and I kept feeling like was a sign, the fact that I had that dream was a sign. And then I also listened to a reading which affirmed it for me. And when you listen to readings and you feel something within you resonate with it, right? Resonating with it, that is your core. That is your intuition. That is what you already know. That is your knowing being affirmed. And that's why you're like, oh yeah, like this does resonate because it's deep within you, right? It's just there. It's innate. And so I had the dream that she betrayed me, but then when I talked to her in real life, the energy was still off, but it still wasn't being said. And then she had messaged me, and then I just felt like an energy like attack me, basically. It felt like I was attacked, and I was like, what the heck? Like, whoa, like why do I feel um and then I ended up actually unfriending this person because I just knew that something wasn't right. There was something they weren't telling me. Whether or not they were able to admit or going to admit to hating on me or, feeling XYZ ways, probably subconsciously, mostly subconsciously, right? I had to choose, okay, am I going to wait and see, or am I going to, and I had to, and so even during that, I went to sit outside on the balcony, and there was a snake, right? And this is another spiritual magical happening during all this where I'm trying to figure it out and I'm going through it. But at this point I'm feeling my emotions because I'm sad and I'm upset because I'm like, I know this is wrong, like I know something's up here, and I'm just upset because this is another friend that has yet, acting in this deceptive energy, this betrayal, sort of hating, sort of envious energy. And so I go sit on the balcony and there's a snake, and the snake is coming. I'm like right here. So let's say I'm right here. I'm right here and I'm inside the thing, but the snake is outside and it's coming this way. The neighbor is outside and the neighbor sees the snake, and the snake's coming towards my door, our like a back thing, but it doesn't reach me. So the neighbor comes and the neighbor sprays the snake and the snake gets away. And the message, right? The clear, very much clear sensing, intuitive, um, mystical message that I got is that God was protecting me from a snake, right? The snake was coming towards our backyard thing, but the neighbor came out and sprayed it all while I was out there, right? It just so no, nothing's a coincidence, right? And that's another important thing. Pay attention. You gotta pay attention. You gotta be in tune. You gotta be looking. You gotta be observing. You gotta be just present, right? Even if not all the way. But so when he sprayed the snake, it just automatically gave me the message of like, yeah, God was/is protecting me from a snake. And like, God's got me. God's not going to let the snake reach me, right? With the spray. He sprayed it and the snake went away. And that's how I just know, like, again, it's a sign. So things will very much align for you on an intuitive, non-logical level, but you'll just know because you'll feel it instinctively in your gut. You'll just know. You just know. You just know. You just know. Let's see. Another prophetic dream that I've had. Um, oh! Okay, so I was thinking of one. Another prophetic dream that I've had is I had a prophetic dream about somebody from my high school telling me that I was such a light and that I was such a, I think he said a bright beam or a bright light or something like that. And I was like, okay, like I haven't seen this kid in a while, but like he's in my dream. Bruh, tell me why a few weeks later, I don't even know if it was 1 week, 2 week, but days later, he added me on Facebook. And I was like, this nigga was just in my dream. And then he added me on Facebook. And so it's things like that where it's like I can just like, I just get messages about what people are experiencing, what people are going through, how people are feeling, what people's intentions are, if they're insincere, if they're ingenuine, if they're genuine, if they're real, if they're honest, right? If they're lying, right? I can very much read through the energy, read through, see past the bullshit because I just know things. I don't really know how I know, but I just know. God be letting me know, right? Through my visions, through my sensing, through my intuition, period. So trust your intuition. Your intuition be knowing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap the video up here, but that is basically, some spiritual gifts that I have, some spiritual gifts that actually very much do exist, whether you want to believe it or not. Your intuition, how to get in touch with your intuition, and just how to believe in the possibility that you could be gifted spiritually, right? You could be just as intuitive and psychic as I am, right? It is real, it is possible, and it is valid. And I think making this video is also helping to heal me and open me up. So, thanks for being here. Thank you for watching this video, and thanks for paying attention. If I rambled, if it was a little messy, I don't know. I kind of got a little excited, but I'm also like, I don't know what to say, like, because it's not really, you can't put it all into words. Like, it's more just something that is just there and it exists, but I'm trying. I tried. That's all you can do, right? And learn and grow and just put it out there and say how you feel. So yeah, if you ever thought that you were getting over on me or you were doing this or that or that or this, I'm gonna tell you right now, no, you're not. Even if you think you are, you're not. Okay? I love you, and I'll see you on my next video.